This Mountain West and Pac-2 preview part 2 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their Pick 8. Sign up with SGPN to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
This is Mike Leach, head football coach at Mississippi State, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer? Dog.
We're officially in the coolest garage in America right now.
Hell yeah!
Look at this. Look at all these. Look at all these look at the non-human faces we're looking at right here.
Joining us here in studio to talk all things college football, Mountain West, Colby Dant, aka Pick Dundee. What's happening, Colby?
The game came out, and it's kind of remarkable. Just the fact that there was no game for 11 years or 12 years, whatever it was. So excited to be here. Excited to like college football. They're finally doing some shit right. 12-team playoff video game back. You know what I mean?
It is so funny. College football again just was like, no playoff. Hey, but this is how we decide sports. We have a playoff. Oh no, you can't have a video game. No video game. Holy shit. You mean you can play the video game and they're going to have a playoff?
And in fairness, they didn't.
Shout out to the National Football League, which has had a video game and a playoff system for damn near as long as I can.
In fairness, EA walked away from the situation when it looked like they were about to get sued for name, image, and likeness stuff. So, in reality, that was the only way that we like you. If you want to give someone credit for NIL, EA Sports. They walked away. That eventually
Arch is in the game now too.
And again,
his holdout ended.
His holdout did end.
Well, in fairness, again, if you're Arch or any of these bigger name guys now, what are you doing? Well, you're not going to give me the $200. You're going to give me a better rate to be in the game. And then now EA Sports. So we're 5 years away from them walking back away from the situation. It's too expensive.
No, there's too many players, man. But
is it worth it to pay Arch extra money?
No. Are they paying him extra money?
Is that the story? I didn't hear that.
Well, of course.
That's what happened?
I'm sure it's a marketing deal. I'm sure it's considered a marketing deal or something. I'm sure he didn't just agree. Like if Marvin Harrison just signs the paperwork tomorrow, I'm going to assume he got some sort of concession.
I'll say this though, man. Like
I'm assuming Arch got something.
This was a conversation about Mountain West Media Day that I didn't even think about.
What's that?
Was that fan interest from the video game? I was lucky enough where like I grew up where they had Bill Walsh college football in 1990, right? So that was a factor into developing my fandom of college football. So this came up like sitting around having lunch about how much that might help fans just in general get into the game, know about the history of college football. And I go, I guess I never thought about that. But I think it is somewhat of a factor.
Well, certainly the rivalries. I mean, I think the game, even the old version, did a good job of kind of highlighting the mascots and the rivalries and the
best thing about those games was that you could recruit. I thought that when they added that element when it went to PS1, that was a game changer.
But also
that's why Chip Kelly's never played the game. He refuses to recruit, so he's out on CFP.
Well, that's what's funny.
He likes the game because he doesn't have to show his personality.
He kind of plays. He calls an offense like he's playing a video game. I kind of respect. That's kind of how he got made.
I was thinking we get the college football video game. We run some sims. We simulate what a real college football playoff. Now that we simulated a college football playoff back when we did what was the name of the college football tournament?
Yeah, what did we call
Was
it?
it
We had
Madden?
The college football tournament. We were
Very creative
very
naming.
straightforward.
I was trying to tell Kramer, hey, let's run it back. Let's do it on the college football 25. We'll narrate it. So stay tuned.
Why not? I mean, come on, with this game coming out, and I saw Bud Elliott talking about it yesterday. Every college football show's numbers are down because everyone's playing the fucking video game. Media days are getting the least amount of attention. Everything trending is via the video
Kramer
game.
said he wants to do it, but he needs help figuring out the sliders. So if you're a CFB 25 expert, hit up Kramer at Kramer Senchik.
If anyone who would know enough to hit me up right now would understand the amount of effort it took at the last, like every time around. So what Sean's referencing is he's like, hey, should we do some more sims? It's like, sure. Who's going to figure it out? Crickets. Okay, I'll figure it out. And what happened when you didn't adjust the sliders last? Remember all the weird shit that used to happen?
Yeah.
I thought that was part of the charm.
That was after spending a ton of time getting it right. That's why DGen Madness was awesome. That's
Remember
why
how jacked
you know
Justin
how
Herbert
bad
was?
Hold on. You know how bad the college football tournament would have been had we even tried to do an original. The first one we did, if you remember, was fucking so bad we had to stop the game. And that's when we had to spend some time. Anyway, yeah, no, people are already pissed off about the game and they're looking forward to next year's. Like they're happy it's here, but I've seen the same crowd that complains about Madden sucking.
People always complain.
Yeah, you do anything, people are going to complain. You know.
So yeah, I'm in. I'm definitely in. But I'm sure no one's going to hit me up with any sort of
hit
information.
Kramer up. Tell him to
Over under
the-
Colby. How many people are going to hit me up?
5.
Yeah.
Set that number at 5.
No,
Under.
there's some
I'll take the under.
there's some hardcore. I mean,
No one knows shit about anything. That's the problem.
Colby's got some hardcore college football fans that are probably already playing the game and know what to do. So hit us up at Kramer.
No, we don't want to
Yeah.
watch some fucking nerds play against each other and run some gimmicky plays that they've figured out how to hack the game already.
We want real simulation. We want
No one
computer
is-
on
Look,
computer
you
action.
can't talk shit about the game when they honored Mike Leach.
650,000 people were online playing the game like 6 hours after launch. And you know how many of those people have played a CPU versus CPU simulation? Fucking zero.
My computer's a nerd
So,
processor,
yes,
a learning
we
computer.
will once again bring. Oh my goodness, what are you doing, Garth? We will once again revolutionize sport and bring you simulated college football at some point in the future.
My dog Garth is going crazy.
Let's see
in
what
the
he did.
office.
Let's see what
There's
happens.
like a 15% chance the lights just go out.
He kind of fixed the camera shot though. I think.
Ever since we put Spuds McKenzie in the studio, which you'll hear about all about it on part 1 episode, which I'm sure you've already listened to. Garth has gone crazy. He also thinks Spuds McKenzie is a real dog. So there's some tension in the studio.
I do feel for Garth right now. He is 100% showing off for an inanimate object. That I'm confident in. All right. Do we want to talk more football teams? What are we calling this level of college football? Because it's not Power 4, but I don't think it's fair to say it's group of 5.
That's what I'm saying. Well, the Mountain West is way better than all the other conferences.
So here's what I'm proposing. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just move forward because we're finally also, and this is there are some that probably listened to the entire part 1 and said, "Hey, I heard mention of the Pac-2."
but we had a discussion in the workplace. Well, we were discussing. I go, when we do Mountain West Pac-2 preview part 1, are we still going to include the Pac-2 as part of it? Because we are not going to actually talk about any of the Pac-2 teams until part 2. And Kramer said, no, we're doing these together as a conference.
It's an alliance.
Yes.
Colby, is
A
it not an
handshake
alliance?
agreement.
Is it not an alliance?
7 game schedule set up for them. And I asked at Mountain West Media Days last week, I asked Gloria Navarez, the commissioner of the conference, what can we expect moving forward? And she said, well, we're going to remain strong with our alliance.
Okay.
And
that's what the Big Ten said too, before they shot the Pac-12 in the back of the head.
Well, it's very interesting the spot they're in because you have Oregon State and Washington State with a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of talk that they might try to take the best of the Mountain West.
Oregon State and Washington State are claiming, "Hey, this is just a little detour for the old Pac-12. We're going to be back better than ever." Well, where are they going to get their teams from?
Well,
I mean, Mountain West is they're kind of playing with fire here, almost like bringing Kellen Moore in as your OC. Hey, Nick Sirianni. Oh, hey, this could be great. But also, if Nick Sirianni gets fired, who are the Eagles?
I like
the head coach.
What he did with
Kellen Moore
the Kellen Moore thing too, because he played in the Mountain West.
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
No, but I mean, all these teams make perfect Pac-12 teams.
Yeah, and do you call it the Pac West? Is there an honest merger? I don't see the harm in just adding those, but you know what? There is a little bit of a wild card out there. And that is that the ACC might not exist, and Stanford and Cal might come crawling back. That one actually is very logical, very likely to happen.
See, this is why college football needs a commissioner. Maybe it'll be Colby, but to just say, "Hey, these are the conferences we're gonna lock in for the next 10 years. No more switching, no more moving around. Create some stability, because that's the tradition, the rivalries. That's what's fun. If you keep reshuffling the teams.
Well, that's where they think that this is where this is how you can tell that the people making decisions are dumb. They're looking at a multi-dimensional problem as if it's flat. And so they're like, well, TV conference, get the best teams in the best conference, best TV, done. But in reality, as Colby keeps screaming at the clouds, what makes college football great is the regionality of it. Is the fact that you are not just competing for these, maybe more national championships, but you're also competing for more localized
and
championships.
Pitt and West Virginia, they don't have to be great teams that year for that to be an awesome game.
Yeah, but
that's the part of sport that these people don't get.
But here's why I wouldn't want a locked-in conference, because sometimes the movement's positive in a way. You know what I mean? Like sometimes
I guess it does keep these conferences honest to a certain degree.
Well, my point is like we get Texas A&M back this year. That's the game I want to watch most the whole entire fucking season. All right, I'm so glad that that's back, because that's been deprived from our sport for a long time. But you're right, more times than not, the movement is bad. But I don't think I'd ever want to rule in there saying
it's not good or bad. It's just they're doing it for the wrong reasons. The fact that Texas and Texas A&M are back is dumb luck.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's only so many bars
BYU and Utah are now in the same conference. They should have always been.
No, I'm not. I'm not complaining about any of this. I'm just saying none of the good stuff that's happening is happening
with the best intent.
No, they're not even trying. It's just it's literally the side effect.
There's clearly no long-term plan, which is I think which is annoying.
Well, here's the thing though about college football to me that it is super annoying at a lot of those things you mentioned. But the unorganization also to me is also what really saves the sport from being just so over the top corporate to me.
Yeah, no, it's great that it's not a single league. I get that. But it also, the fact that there's no leadership is why this is allowed to happen, because one commissioner allowed the TV executive to stick his hand squarely in the asshole. And then the other one's like, wait a second, that's not fair. I want a hand in my ass. And so next thing you know,
clip that. Can we get a time code on that one?
Hold on. Let me write that down. No.
13 minutes, 20 seconds.
I want a dick rubbed on me.
We can do some dueling Kramers. Hey, have you guys signed up with UnderdogFantasy.com? If not, what are you waiting for? They just launched College Football Fantasy Best Ball. That's right. You can do a best ball draft in college football. Are you kidding me? This is the first. I don't know of any platform that's ever offered this. It's going to be an awesome experience.
It just dropped an episode.
Yeah. I know College Football Experience is going to be doing a ton of episodes. I think $20,000 first place prize to this tournament. I'm sure if it fills up, they'll be doing some more. If you played NFL Fantasy Best Ball, it's similar idea, but now college football, the rosters are deep. If you consider yourself someone who really knows college football, who really knows the players, the deep rosters of these players. Like no one is putting time into it like some of the hardcore college football fans. So if you really know college football, I think this is a great opportunity. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN, get a sweet deposit match up to $250 and a special pick for the Underdog Fantasy Pick'em, higher lower. But again, get in there, get the college football best ball. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN.
All right. So let's get to talking one of those teams with all the money, which it is amazing that the remainder of the Pac-12 / Pac-2 is potentially going to have enough power to consume the next largest conference in the land, as you mentioned. Not quite.
Well, we don't know. That might be an honest merger too.
Oh no.
Yeah. They
Colby,
should merge, in my opinion.
Let me tell you something. A little something about mergers. There's never an equal merger. There's always a bigger party.
Well, Pac-12 only has 2 teams,
but they have so much
the
money.
best,
But that's the thing that's interesting though, is like, do you grab the they said that they kind of want the top teams in the Mountain West.
Oh, yeah, you don't need San Jose State.
I think San Jose State. I think that I want San Jose State in that. You know, I think.
No,
that,
I know, but if they're getting Cal and Stanford, they're not also going to need a San Jose State. Anyway, we love the Beavers. I've been big fans. What? Were you? Oh, I thought you were chiming in.
Oh, Canada, we love our Beaver.
Well, I accidentally hit the beginning part of.
I want a dick rubbed on me tonight.
It's not Canadian Beaver. This is Freedom Beaver.
Pelts.
Freedom Beaver from the great state of Oregon or Oregon. I forget which one you're supposed to say. 5-4 in the Pac-12 last year, which, by the way, 9 conference games. Shout out to them. 8-4 overall. This year's win total 7.5. Sean, 110 to the over, -130 under. So adjust down slightly. No odds to win their conference, unfortunately, and no one's offering odds for them to win the Mountain West Conference.
I'm going to be doing a every week on Friday afternoon. I will be releasing my Pac-2 power ranking.
Yeah, I like this idea.
Every week,
more power ranking.
No, just all I'm going to do is power rank the Pac-2.
No, it's in the hunt. We gotta have the playoff graphic.
You know what they're sacrificing here is they're sacrificing. They can't be a Group of 5 playoff team. They are sacrificing because they want to remain in the Pac-2 with all this money.
Yeah,
they're basically treated like Notre Dame.
Smart.
So they're going to need the outright bid.
That's smart.
Yeah,
which in their conference means they're going to have a very, very nice record. I will say, as I mentioned in part 1, since we recorded the first batch of previews, they have now released college football playoff prices for every team in the land. So if you have a relative who plays for Toledo, you can get down on Toledo to make the playoff. Oregon State's price to make the playoff 20-1. You know, the Washington State and Oregon playoff prices to me, they just suggest the same thing as the Mountain West teams, which is you're going to need to probably go 10-2, maybe 11-1 required. Probably 11-1 required. So I think you kind of just immediately discard them and move on with your life. And then the college football championship price for Oregon State is 600-1.
Wait, you don't think Oregon State has a shot to make the playoff?
I'm saying that the logic of a team, as Colby mentioned, the logic of a team who's being treated like Notre Dame to make the playoff, who's not playing the schedule that's going to be viewed as highly as a Notre Dame schedule. They're in the Mountain West, which will be seen as most as a Group of 5, even though, as we mentioned, it's we'll call it it's what's between P and G. Is there a good letter between P and G we can use for the N1?
The N1.
The N1. I think it is. It's better than the Group of 5, the Group of 4 teams. It's worse than the Power 5, and having Oregon State and Washington State doesn't exactly bolster.
But this program's been better than a shit ton of Power 4.
I agree,
programs.
but I think the problem is
Bray, their head coach, he thinks they're a playoff team.
No. I think they can absolutely make the playoff. My point is the path for them to make the playoff.
Yeah, basically they have to go 11-1, 12-0, right?
Maybe you can be 10-2.
I think it matters the carnage that is around.
There are other conferences too.
But I would say this: looking at their schedule, they get Oregon at home. I mean, I guess it depends how many times you think they're going to get tripped up on the road in the Mountain
Here's
West.
what I would say: their path is they have to be better than the best Group of 5 team. I think that's like where it starts. So to be in the conversation, you have to outduel every other Group of 5 champion, and then so yeah, no, I actually in a fucked up way, I'd rather take the championship price, because if they get in, hedging out of a 600 to 1 spot is probably winning better than winning a 20 to 1 spot. I'm guessing. Maybe I'm wrong. Or I would just play the win total. That's where I would come in and be like,
I look at their schedule, and I'd love to get Colby's thoughts on new head coach Trent Bray, but Oregon State's always been good at home. I like, I think
you love the turnover chainsaw.
Yes, turnover chainsaw's awesome.
Are they still doing it?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know,
no confirmation though. We think so.
But are they worried that that's like it's pro logging and deforestation? And I mean, how is that not going?
It is Oregon. It is Oregon.
On how politically correct things have gone.
I disagree. I don't know if a chainsaw represents deforestation.
I mean, what do you mean they slice it right through a tree?
I would say that the problem with the earth is not men with a chainsaw clearing some area on their land to plant crops.
It's Larry Scott, $50,000 a night hotel rooms.
Chainsaws aren't the problem. Sean coming after chainsaws was not something I expected.
What? I'm saying they clearly use the chainsaws to cut down trees.
But it's like bow hunting. I respect that. You're not using a high-powered rifle.
You do, but you're not like some extreme environmentalist.
Yeah, but they would even respect a handheld chainsaw. I mean, maybe you're just trying to off-road in the Yukon.
We'll ask the people camping out at Yale's campus if they're fine with us chainsawing some trees down.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, they would need to hear the context, but yes.
they seem like people who understand context. Colby, Trent Bray, are we in or are we out?
I love it because I mean, look,
of course you do.
I wanted Jonathan Smith to stay there. Broke my heart because he's a Beaver.
Yeah.
He won the Fiesta Bowl as a Beaver quarterback.
Canada, we love our Beaver.
But Trent Bray's a Beaver too, and he's done a hell of a good job as a defensive coordinator over the past couple of years. So at least they kept him some stability there. They also Gunderson is going to be their offensive coordinator. Who's coming over from UCLA, but he played quarterback at Oregon State too. To me, like I like counting on the guys that made Oregon State in this crazy time period for them. You know what I mean? Like they have guys that really love the program. And I think that's a big difference. Now they got absolutely rated in the portal. DJU starting at Florida State. Aiden Childs is starting at Michigan State. Damian Martinez is starting at Miami. Silas Bolden starting at Texas. So they got completely destroyed in the transfer portal. But I thought they did a good job responding. They knew they weren't going to be able to bring in players that good. But Giovanni McCoy was really good in the FCS as a quarterback at Idaho. Took him to the took him to the FCS playoffs. Anthony Hankerson at the running back spot. Jamaris Griffin comes in from Ole Miss, and Hankerson from Colorado. Those guys are serviceable. I think they can do good, and I just think it might take them a few weeks. The Civil War's week 3. It should be the final week of the season. You fucking filthy losers in the Big Ten. Now we can't play a Big Ten game to end our season. Look, the ACC and SEC do that shit all the time. All right, Clemson, South Carolina, Georgia, Georgia Tech, Louisville, Kentucky, Florida, Florida State. Shut up. That should be the final game of the season.
But look at that Oregon State schedule. I struggle getting them to 5 losses. I think the over here is a pretty good play. I mean, they have Washington State at home. They have Oregon at home. Now, to your point, granted, it's week 3.
That's the problem to me is how fast can he get? Because this is a shit. They have basically a brand new team.
But even if that's a loss, I still think they can get to 8-4 pretty easily.
I'm just worried about, like, to me, San Diego State, Oregon, Purdue. That stretch right there. You could be 1-3 because you're breaking in literally a brand new team. I think they'll go 2-2 in that stretch.
But and they get the early bye, so that's helpful too.
That is helpful, and especially in this case. Normally, I don't like.
And they got the well spaced out buys.
But then after that, Colorado State, I do think is a threat. Now, Oregon State does have one of the best home field environments. That their fans are super close to the sidelines too. It's perfect for college football. But after that, you're right. I mean, they got matchups with Cal and Washington State later in the season.
At Air Force, I guess that could be kind of tough.
That's always tricky, triple option. But I count the Boise game as a loss. You said 7.5 was the win total, right?
Yeah.
So I would say, like, to me, San Diego State games, I kind of have that penciled in as a loss. Oregon a loss. The Cal game, I'll lean. I don't know, man, because it's tricky. I'm going to lean under. Actually, I think 7-5 is probably what they're looking at. Maybe 8-4. Like I think the numbers pretty. 7-5. Give me 7-5. Give me. The
I
under.
think there's also a chance that the team's really bad too.
I just think there's too much turnover in 1 year. You know, like maybe. But I will say, you know, Trent Bray was the DC, so he knew those backups. They know his system, but I just don't know that you can lose that many key players. And
yeah, they don't have a ton of experience. I still think they have a very good home field advantage. I mean, they've been dominant at home.
They're catching 21.5 points against Oregon in the Civil War.
I think they nailed the number. I think they're right there.
If they go 6-1 at home, I think they can win 2 other games on the road.
My thing is, I think Oregon and Washington State could get them in. I think Washington State returns more of their team. Now, to be fair, they get Washington State on November 23rd. Oregon State the team will probably know what the coach wants by that point. But Washington State, I do think is a little bit better as of right now than Oregon State. So I would say like Washington State and Oregon probably going to win in Corvallis if I had to bet. Then Boise is tricky. Cal is tricky. And potentially Air Force, potentially San Diego State.
Any chance they win 9 games in your mind?
It's possible because they are better than the Mountain West teams. They have been.
I liked it that you were used to playing in the Pac-12 and now you take a step down.
But
competition.
But Colby's point was the roster also took a step down.
Well, the turnover too, man. I just think installing your culture with that many new faces.
I've consistently faded this spot on most situations, so I have to go under here.
Well, you're under
choice.
King.
Yeah, no, I'm winning king. San Diego State, aka Our Gals, the original Our Gals. Some may forget they had excellent times during the shutdown when they were making a deep run into D-Gen madness on the basketball side. And who can forget the great Brady Hoke not wearing headsets on the side, all sorts of fun things. That's why they're Our Gals this year. Little bounce back spot. They were 2-6 in conference last year, 4-8 overall. The win total sitting pretty low at 5.5, plus 100 to the over, minus 120 to the under, 25-1 to win the conference, 130-1 to win or to make the playoff, and 1,000-1 like most of the teams in this great conference to win the national championship. Lot to be excited with San Diego State this year, though, right, Colby?
Oh yeah, I think that like they hit a slam dunk. Yeah. By the way, and Coach Lewis, Sean Lewis, comes in from being the OC of Colorado previously.
Being treated like an asshole by Coach Prime.
Is that fact?
Brian just hates Coach Prime.
He was interviewing for a job. I think that was the story. Was that which you know?
I mean, I think I think he realized the situation was Mickey Mouse. And I think Coach, the team clearly took a step back when Pat Shurmur entered the situation. So
true, but they also played the Pac-12 schedule then.
No,
you know what I mean?
I'm just saying. I'm glad. I'm glad he's rescued
with San Diego State. Are we worried that they've lost their way a little bit? You know, they were known as like a ground and pound, run the ball, Rashad Penny, play defense. And now they're running this Air Coryell offense.
Yes, that's what I've been deeming Sean Lewis. Air Coryell Part 2. The first time they had Air Coryell back in the day.
That's my concern. Is that what we liked about San Diego State? That identity that they had.
They were horrible
with Brady Hoke. Well, yeah, and it hit a wall and fell apart.
I think this is just a really good hire, though, man. Like Kent State, I think might be the hardest job in America for D1 college football.
The offense will be serviceable. That's the difference.
Well, and he brings in his guys. Marquez Cooper, the running back, was a stud for him at Kent State. Deshaun Polk, the wideout, was a guy for him at
he didn't bring any of the Colorado.
He
guys?
did. Michael Harrison, the tight end. But AJ Duffy, he brings in a quarterback that the transfer from Florida State that played in the ACC championship game. And I just know that this team's going to be playing much better. And I had a chance to sit down with Coach Lewis, and he's a fucking salesman right away. He sits down. He's like, "This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna be playing fast." But I
did he sell you?
Yeah, and he invited us down to the Snapper to catch a game.
Snapper.
Yeah, go down to the Snapper. I'm sold on the hire, man, and I think this is gonna. It's perfect for the city of San Diego. They've had their NFL team stolen from them, and they like say what you want, Rocky Long. I love Rocky Long, but after he left, Brady Hoke was kind of just doing Rocky Long things, and it was a great. They were winning games, great defense, blocking punts, but it wasn't that exciting style of football. Right, this is going to ignite the city.
What's going on, Kramer? Colby is calling for exciting offense.
Well, that was exciting to me.
The ball?
No, but for San Diego, a foo-foo, fan base, they need explosions. You know what I mean? They need excitement.
We covered this on part 1, but Colby met a lot of people close to these situations. That's why he's bullish on.
That's why you got to be careful. You got to be careful.
The second they hired him, even before Mountain West Media Day, I was ready to smash this.
Colby came back with 9 used cars, Kramer.
Yeah, let's send Colby. Let's see what happens if we send him to SEC media day.
Me and Bobby Petrino are gonna have drinks at the bar.
He's gonna have 4 timeshares. He's gonna pay off.
You guys. I'm kind of starting to see what they're doing down there in the South.
Smash this over, dude.
I'm fine taking the over. I guess I'm a little skeptical that they're.
Do you know how bad the talent level was at Kent State? And he gave Georgia like the biggest test out of any of the SEC teams.
I'm fine. I would 5.5, low number. Normally a turned over team like this would be scary, but they were so bad last year. I think it's probably, as they say, baked into the price. So yeah, let's go over here. Our gals.
All right, I'll take the over. I like San Diego State.
And it's going to be a fun team to root for. No expectations, Sean. That's where they like to be. San Jose State, like Colby was mentioning, could be one of the teams. If he was making the new Pac-12, he would not include San Jose State, I think is the direct quote from Colby. 6-2 in conference last year, 8-4 overall. Their basketball team being so horrible, and Sean and I being out in Las Vegas for late night Mountain West basketball,
shitting on Tim Miles. I think he's doing a great job with the basketball program.
Made me forget how good the football team was last year, because boy, the basketball team was bad. But now the win total is 4.5, -115 to the over, -105 to the under, 65 to 1 to win the Mountain West. Maybe they won't get invited to the.
Well,
next
it is
conference.
funny. I mean, it's like obviously they've seen the transition. They got new head coach. How do you pronounce his last name, Colby?
Ken Niumatalolo.
Great name
would be his full name. And
wow, okay,
dude, he turned down a bunch of jobs to at Navy. Like, he's a great football coach.
They're only returning 7 starters. They have a new head coach, but since 2020, 26-19, including 20-10 in the Mountain West. So they've been able to hang around in conference. The fact that they're 8-4 last year and that their win total is all the way down to 4.5 suggests, hey, we don't expect much from this team. It seems like the projection is suggesting a rebuilding year. 4.5 is pretty low for a team that's usually a tough out. I like Ken bringing in Coach Ken. I'm going to call him, bringing in some defense, bringing in some discipline to San Jose State. But I don't know, Colby, where are you at with this Spartans team?
This one I will say, going to Mountain West Media Day, it improved my thoughts on this team. Like San Diego State, I was sold on the minute they hired Sean Lewis. This one, I was sold on Niumatalolo, but I just thought it would take time because their best players are at Arizona for the most part, or graduated. Chevin Cordero is in the UFL now. I paying closer attention. They retained their defensive coordinator. Their defense has been solid. That is big because that continuity there on the defensive side of the ball. And then the OC Craig Stutzman, I think, is one of the more creative offensive coordinators. They're going to be running the run and shoot stuff, but he does a lot of stuff. He's like a cutting edge offensive coordinator. Now, I don't know how fast this offense can adapt to that with not much production returning.
Yeah,
but I do think he was at Utah Tech. He was at Hawaii. This guy's going to do some wacky stuff with the football. Like, it's going to be fun to watch. Run and shoot ish. And I'm a little more intrigued because I feel like they bring in Brown, the backup quarterback from Washington State, to start. I just know Niumatalolo knows football, and like another thing is they play Air Force and Kennesaw State, 2 triple option teams. Well, guess what? Ken Niumatalolo has been doing his whole fucking life. All right, and when he played quarterback for Paul Johnson at Hawaii back in the day, he was running the. So there's a little bit of a leg up against in those matchups. Week 2 against Air Force, week 3 against Kennesaw State.
Yeah, but at Air Force is a tough place.
True, but they're only returning 4 starters, and to me, Air Force has more questions than they've had in a while. So those games become a little more winnable because of his history against those offenses.
Sean,
Yes.
you forgot something very important about our friend Ken.
What's that?
He also chose to not tackle.
Oh, really?
No, that was the government. Wasn't him. It was because COVID. The Navy Academy could not.
He was the head football coach practicing not tackling.
Army couldn't either, and Air Force couldn't either.
Navy was not tackling more than the other programs.
Who is responsible for not tackling?
So you see how quickly he's jumping to his defense.
He's good buddies with these guys, throwing back cocktails.
He did. It was
how they do.
Ken Niumatalolo. Oh, I'll tell you a good story, guys. This is a good story.
My good buddy
Actually,
Ken.
let me see if I can find you the photo.
We were having scotch.
Well, my good
Sean,
buddy Ken reaches over.
Here's what I would say, as someone, I like the long term idea of this program, but in the short term, this is trouble because they're going to be the team. What conference is there on the West Coast that they're going to join when they get kicked out of the?
I'm sending you a link right now. Can you share this with?
Send me the link, but tell me what conference San Jose State's going to be a part of when they no longer.
They're going to be a part of the Pac West.
Let's assume that they're not because Cal and Stanford have returned.
Pac West. They're going to beat Stanford final game of the season and prove it. That's what it should be. Winner takes all. So can we show this? This is a great thing.
What are we looking at?
Me, Brett McMurphy, Ken Niumatalolo had a conversation about this.
What do you mean?
Their grass was getting shit on by birds for their stadium, Spartan Stadium, legendary place. If you know California, the history of California football.
Okay.
Their grass was getting shit on by birds. So they put a fake coyote there.
That's not a real coyote.
Yeah, that is a fake coyote. So that
really.
And Niumatalolo was also cracking up at the amount of birds because they installed turf to try to get them, and then they just pluck up the turf. They're like, "Where the fuck is the food?"
That doesn't look like a real live anything.
Just hilarious, man. Hilarious conversation.
So this is what you were talking.
We had about a 30-minute conversation about coyotes in America.
That's a wild, interesting story.
I'm going under.
What else were you guys up to?
I'm going under on Colby's buddy. This road schedule's tough.
I mean, have we even discussed the schedule yet? Colby probably likes it.
The schedule is.
They can't win a road game.
What do you mean?
At Oregon State, at Fresno State, at Colorado State, at Washington State, at Air Force. I think they're gonna have their hands full.
Well, I think the Air Force game is winnable because he runs that fucking same offense for about 40 fucking years. No.
I'm really holding on to the tackling thing. That's a red flag for me.
Red flag.
And you know what he was doing last year, Sean?
What?
He was with Chip Kelly.
He was acting tight end coach and director of leadership. Is he one foot out the door from football? I don't know about this guy.
Oh,
you know what?
You know why Kramer's mad at him? He's a Paul Johnson guy, and Paul Johnson used to shit on Virginia Tech.
Oh wow, there you go. That's all you needed.
Triple option is bad for football.
So Colby's on the over. I'm on the under. Kramer's on the under.
Not surprisingly, I'm on the under.
Well, I mean that total's too low. They're gonna hit this.
Which 5 games do they win?
You ready?
Colby?
Sac State, Air Force, Kennesaw, 3-0. Then Nevada, 4, and then they'll get someone late just because Niumatalolo's team's too good. He's too good of a coach. He'll find a way to beat one of those.
They're not winning after their second bye. Boise, UNLV. Oh, come on. Good luck. I hope you get this one, Colby. I really do. All right, next up, let's head over to the. Are they not the running? Are they the UNLV the Rebels or Running Rebels?
I call them the Running Rebels, but that's supposedly a basketball thing.
Okay,
I don't agree.
Well, they do run.
Own it.
Well, football is a running sport as well. UNLV 6-2 in conference last year, 9-3 overall. Felt like Sean and I probably made a couple bucks on those Friday games towards the end of the season. Not 7.5 is the win total this year. Plus 120 to the over, minus 150 to the under, plus 5.5 or 5.5 to 1 to win the conference. So the first realistic winner on this side, 33 to 1 to make the playoff. Again, the difference between the playoff and the conference price just don't make sense to me. And then 1,000 to 1 to take it all down. Not happening. If it does, people will call for the Vegas fix.
I ate shit on this team last year. Me and the bet detective.
Oh, I know.
But
hey, Colby, what's a good pick for this weekend? Oh yeah, we're fading UNLV again, huh?
Oh, I love this one. Give me the under all day.
They had 9 wins, but they're only 2-5 versus bowl teams. They're the +8 in turnover margin, stock down indicator, courtesy of my boy Phil Steele.
What's their home stadium like, Colby?
It's an away game. They get rid of Sam Boyd here. The great Sam Boyd Stadium, which they should just renovate because it's fucking phenomenal. And they go for this trash ass stadium, the worst stadium in D1 college football.
This is actually
right?
one of your takes I agree with the most.
The worst stadium in D1 college football.
If you can't see Colby's lower body,
at
like
least Syracuse went
His
to a
tail's
filthy dome, but
wagging.
at least it's on fucking campus.
His tail's
this
wagging
is
right
trash. This is everything that college football should never be. And may God have mercy on their fucking souls.
So
all right.
For those who don't know, they play
at Allegiant.
Oh no. The Death Star.
And the first thing they'll say
is pretty awesome. They have a slot machine on the sideline. I'll say that.
The slot. How's the slot?
The first thing they'll say is like, actually, our attendance is up. Yeah, because they're not your fans, you fucking losers.
That's true.
Right?
Tickets are cheap.
Yeah, and people staying at Mandalay are like, oh, let's go catch a game. And Syracuse fans will come there and celebrate. You know what I mean? Like,
I was going to say it makes it a destination game for the other team, which is always a problem for college because the whole point of a college home edge is that you have a whole bunch of drunk kids.
Yeah,
I have a feeling that the kid, like I did not attend UNLV. So if you did, reach out to me if I'm wrong. But I have a feeling that most kids don't party on the strip every night.
Yeah,
just a guess. Probably a little pricey.
And you have one of the best stadiums like Sam Boyd. Okay, I know it's older, but you can renovate this stuff. What do you think Wrigley Field's an attraction in baseball? You renovate it. All right, you have a great stadium. It's dude, one end zone's like you if you run like Bo Jackson style. Remember when Bo Jackson at the Kingdom had that like 80-yard run where he ran up the fucking thing, right? If you do that at Sam Boyd, you're like literally in the desert. It is perfect. And it's an advantage. You took away the advantage of your team because it's hot as fuck. I remember they beat Wisconsin there one year, right? You go there, it's like 120 degrees even at night. That's their advantage. And now they go to this filthy trash. But also,
so they don't have a home edge anymore.
They don't.
Okay.
You know, when they play Fresno
side,
State, there'll be more Fresno State fans there than UNLV.
On the bright side, they play Kansas, the Jayhawks in Kansas in the Chiefs.
No, that's because the Kansas is playing the non-con at Children's Mercy Park.
Oh,
yeah.
Is that the soccer stadium?
I'm assuming.
Oh my goodness.
They have a tough
What is
schedule.
happening this year?
They got at Houston, at Kansas, at Utah State, at Oregon State as a back-to-back.
Well, hold on. Let's talk about the non-con.
Syracuse at home.
The non-con is Houston,
insane.
Kansas, Syracuse, and at Oregon
It's
State.
like they're in a different conference.
Yeah.
Like how harder their schedule is.
Well,
I mean, you have to lay some juice for the under, but I don't see how they're getting.
I mean, they also lost their starting quarterback to USC.
Yeah, lock it up.
Jaden Mavia. They do bring in my boy Matthew Sluka from Holy Cross, who I am a fan of, but
they do miss Fresno.
That's true. No, they get Fresno week 4. But I'll tell you this: Fresno.
So I take back what I said.
Tedford just retired, so you could say Fresno might not be as good.
You have the chalk in the conference is Fresno, Boise State, followed by UNLV. I guess would be third chalk. So you catch the two teams that are chalk in your conference, and you've built an insane non-con.
And let me.
And oh, by the way, like you mentioned, you don't think Syracuse and Utah are gonna pack fucking Allegiant Stadium?
Yeah. Well, how about this too? The final 3 games of the season are against San Diego State, San Jose State, and Nevada. Those are all first-year coaches. You love first-year coaches in November because there'll be heavy dogs. There'll be heavy dogs. You're almost in year 2.
Yeah, your homecomings against Boise State.
They're gonna fuck you
in
up.
Allegiant Stadium, where all their fans are going to be there once again. This is an insane like Yeah, I don't. Where are they Where are the wins?
Utah Tech, the Trailblazers, week 2. They'll get them.
They gotta win 8 games.
I mean, it's even at Hawaii.
Yeah,
like that's not an easy
Hawaii
game.
is gonna be good.
All
this
right,
year,
so
yeah.
with the -150, it adjusts the total down to 7.1. Still, who cares? Still, where are they getting 7 wins?
I think even at 6.5, I like the under.
Shout out to the Mountain West schedule makers for getting it right with the Nevada UNLV game.
This is a lock.
It is a lock. I agree. But the battle for the Fremont Cannon, the past couple of years they've had this like scattered through the season. It should always be the final week of the season. Always be the final week of the season. They got it right finally. Thank you.
I'm gonna while Sean talks about something, I'm gonna read about the Fremont Cannon.
Hey, have you guys signed up for Rhythm yet? If not, what are you waiting for? Their college football platform is about to go live right around the corner. And in the meantime, start cashing with some golf action. That's right. Dominating the golf tournaments with their projection. Again, they do all the heavy lifting. Love me some Rhythm. Cannot wait to get, and you can already start playing around with your college football model. That should be dropping anytime now. So get in now. Claim your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. We were just talking about the UNLV running Rebels. You know what's also awesome out in Las Vegas? That's right, Circa Survivor and the Circa Millions. Sign up at Circa in Las Vegas. You can also sign up at the Circa up there in Reno, Tahoe area. However, why not come out to Vegas, hang out with Kramer and I? We're going to be out there for Bet Bash, August 7th through the 10th. We're also going to be out there for contest weekend, August 22nd through the 24th. They got an open bar event with Kramer and I. Crack some cold ones, get some free drinks, sign up. You got a chance to win millions of dollars just for picking some NFL games. Imagine you won your office pool Survivor, and you win the Survivor. You win what? $500. You're going to be kicking yourself knowing you didn't win millions of dollars. 10 million up for grabs in the Circa Survivor, and of course, Derek being a true gentleman, no rake. In the circuit contest. That's right. $16 million guaranteed, whether it fills or not. And there usually is a nice little overlay. And we have a deal as well for a proxy. Proxy is the person you sign up with. They put your picks in footballcontestproxy.com, promo code SGP, save you $50. Get all the details, all the information, circusports.com.
It's the heaviest and most expensive trophy in college football.
Dude, it's a cannon on wheels. It's perfect.
It's a replica.
I want one of these in this fucking office. All right, I know you're getting dogs and everything over here, but can we get the Fremont cannon in the office?
It's a replica of the howitzer cannon that explorer John C. Fremont used on an expedition in 1943. It was
I'm
left in
assuming
a
that's who Fremont Street is named after.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's a Nevada thing. It's a replica donated by Kencott Cooper. But yeah, the cannon,
gotta be a
the
character.
cannon was left in a snowdrift in Sierra Nevada, the real one. But the trophy or the fake one, the replica weighs 545 pounds.
It sounds like a real cannon.
And cost $10,000 to build. Wow. Okay. It's also the game is also part of a series of athletic competitions between UNLV and Nevada.
They really hate each other, by the way. I didn't know that when I moved out here, and then I was up in Reno, and I was talking about UNLV. And like it's a low key, like
Colby,
you know how Pitt, West Virginia, we know the hate, or Mississippi State, Ole Miss, like. It's one of the ones that I think is the more edgier rivalries that people don't know about.
Colby being surprised that two rivals hate each other is one of my favorite bits.
But like USC and UCLA, they don't really hate each other. You know what I mean? Like it's a rivalry.
You talk to the right ones. They hate.
No, but
I don't know. I've walked around with Bowser at a USC game. There's definitely some people that hate him.
I mean, there's a little bit, but I'm saying like this one is like Pitt, West Virginia.
No, it's just like the Dodgers and the Giants. Like not all Dodgers and Giants fans hate each other, but once in a while there's a stabbing.
True, but there's like just a grittier rivalry to me is like UNLV.
Every fan base has that gritty side. It's like a usually somewhat mimics the demographic of the earth, or at least the region. Utah State, the Aggies Colby has often told us they keep their program well. 4-4 last year though, a little bit of a lull. 6-6. I believe they won their bowl game.
When did you get these numbers?
Right now.
Okay. Well, they had big news in the past couple weeks. That's why I ask.
So these are fresh from seconds ago. 5.5 is the number for Utah State. Plus 130 to the over, minus 160 to the under. So I assume that news is not good news because that adjusts the total all the way down to 5. 32 to 1 to win the conference, 200 to 1 to make the playoff, 1,000 to 1 to win the championship. Just bet the playoff in this case. There's only a 5x difference between making the playoff and winning the championship for Utah State. If your cousin plays for the team, just do the make playoff bet. Anyway, Colby, what was the news that we recently heard about?
Well, Blake Anderson, their head coach, is out. On
what happened?
Well,
trip to the lake.
He's fighting it. He says he told the athletic director. Athletic director didn't do anything. I think they fired the athletic director too. But anyway,
what was the thing?
I think it was some allegations. I didn't do a deep dive on this because
allegations of what?
I think it might have been misconduct on.
He locked someone in a shed.
No, I think it might have been related to relationship.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Little side cut, like a Bobby Petrino situation.
I didn't do a deep dive on it, so okay. I mainly because it seemed like at the time I wasn't 100% sure. But his lawyer has stated that he did exactly what he should have done.
Utah State University placed.
He had sex with that chick. He did exactly.
No. I don't think. I think it was a player related thing. Where like he told the coach. They found out about
with one of the players?
Situation. No, the player it might have been
Utah State
allegation. Yeah.
Head football coach Blake Anderson on administrative leave. That's never a good thing. Last week and notified him of their intent to terminate him for violating his employment agreement.
Oh shit.
This almost sounds like UFL Jeff, mutually parting ways. And university policy in spring of 2023. Deputy AD Jerry Bouvet and Director of Player Development Austin Albrecht were also fired.
Damn, because I liked Utah State. I mean, minus losing their head coach,
and it was regarding complaints of sexual misconduct with I believe with players.
So there was like some car wash shit going on.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
No. So like a
the flying squirrels alive and well.
A soaking car
Reminds
wash.
me, I do need to get my car washed here. I don't know.
Utah's not that far, Sean.
What do we make of this, Colby? Because they had a big jump up in experience. They had the net close losses. They were plus 28 yards per game.
Hold on, I don't mean to interrupt.
They had a chance to be a nice surprise team.
Coach Blake Anderson's response. This is now this news is now current as of 24 hours ago. He's officially responded. Guess how long his written response is to these allegations?
I did not do that. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Is the response?
See, I would eat. I feel like the longer it is, the more guilty you look because you're trying to explain away all these things. How many pages?
70.
Wow.
Fired for non-compliance with Title IX. Ooh. It's the plot thickens. We'll have to really do a deep dive on this later.
Well, I feel sorry for him, man, because
he's definitely taking the fall for some shit that he probably didn't know was going on.
I mean, I don't know, but I know that he's definitely had
oh wait, hold on. Now
he's had a lot of stuff going on.
Domestic violence is covered under Title IX. So basically, he had a player that was involved in a domestic violence thing.
Oh,
and did not follow the procedures. They had the university had an external view on the situation, and they also agreed that the football coach and members of the administration did not follow the policy set forth by the university or Utah State University.
Damn. So I think you have to take the under, right? I mean, who's coaching?
I actually like the over here. Nate Drilling. Look, I think this was a blessing in disguise because, well, now he's very young. I interviewed this guy the other day. And he's only 33 years
Red
old.
Flag.
He's only 33 years old. No, but I would have done this. I did my preview before this news.
Yeah.
If you go listen to the Mountain West or the Utah State preview, he's a Jerry Kill guy. That defense was awesome for New Mexico State last year.
I like this team. I guess just the coaching thing. is obviously interesting. But I don't really know a ton about the guy filling in for him. Obviously.
Well, his coaching resume is not deep, but he was at Oregon in 2020. But he was with and he was on the Green Bay Packers for a little bit. But to me, if you watched New Mexico State last year, they were a good defensive team. Ask Auburn about that, you know. And I thought in general when they hired him as DC, I thought, because Utah State and Blake Anderson, their teams have lacked physicality. I thought drilling was going to make them physical, and I was like, that's going to work. That'll really work because the offense has been fine. They just need a little bit of physicality. Now he's never been a head coach. This is a risk on this one, but I do think their team is solid. I think they have a good home field advantage there at Merlin Olsen Field. And I think that it'll be enough for 5. What's it? 5.5?
5.5. They it's 5.5 juice to the under.
They're gonna beat Robert Morris and Temple.
That's 2.
Okay, 2.
I love the fact
he has not been
Utah.
terminated yet. For what it's worth.
There's people camping out for the Utah game. He has not been terminated. Okay.
UNLV at home. I think they might be able to win that. New Mexico at home.
I think they'll be favored against New Mexico.
Hawaii at home. That's probably a decent spot for them.
Well, that's a great spot for them because Hawaii struggles in really cold weather. And November 16th at Maverick Stadium.
And San Diego State, you get them at home at least.
I'll take a shot. I think they go 6-6.
You're gonna give them a shot.
This program is like coach proof, dude. They go bowling no matter the coach.
Kramer's on the under. I'm on the over.
No, but this kind of stuff is more than just the coach turning over. Like
it is a little hard to tell.
Blake, if what he's saying is true, this is the administration coming after the football program. That's what he's alleging.
But doesn't that rally them around?
No, it means someone at the administration wants to make changes and is going to use the football team as a scapegoat.
If you're gonna bet this, you're gonna want to wait a few weeks because all the players have a 30-day window to transfer.
Yeah, that's the other thing is we don't know. Come on, Sean. Let's be sharp here.
I am sharp. Look what happened to you guys. Thought I was crazy when Northwestern they got rid of Patty Fitzgerald.
Sean
wrongly fired Patty Fitzgerald.
Sean's 1-0 in taking teams who enjoyed a good car wash.
Clean them up. Get the wax ready.
I mean, also it's 2024. Like who is it for? I mean, if guys want to be a car wash, is that for us to say?
Yeah.
Consensual.
Someone's going to be upset with us because this is probably a more serious case.
No, none of our audience ever gets upset.
Although, as I'm reading about it, it does seem like he's being fired for procedural, like some sort of procedural thing more than anything.
Yeah, you never. I mean, who knows? Maybe they don't like his contract.
Which makes me, makes me worried about what the real direction there is. All right. Next up, one of our favorite teams, another 2 hour gals in one episode. Washington State, the Cougars, go Cougs. Unfortunately, we really sad to see them get kicked out of the get to see the Pac-12 get murdered, only to see them get all the money. They were only 2-7 last year.
What in 5-7? Oh, you mean in conference?
In conference, 5-7 overall, but 7.5 this year. I mean, kind of shows the strength of the conference.
They were better than that.
-105 to the over, -115 to the under. 40-1 to make the playoff. 1,000-1 to win the championship.
I mean, look at their schedule last year, and then look at their schedule. They almost
beat the team. They were in position to beat the team that played in the national championship. Washington.
They're on the Phil Steele's most improved list. A lot of it, I think, is just moving down from the Pac-12 to the Mountain West.
I saw. Yeah, they also have one. They have the biggest difference in strength of schedule from last year to this year in the country.
Their toughest spot, I think. I mean, the back-to-back road spot towards the end of the year at New Mexico, at Oregon State. It's not easy. They get Wyoming at home. You don't want to go to.
But I'll repeat it. But they have the largest delta in strength of schedule, and it's not even close.
No, this is one that could make the playoffs.
Oregon State's actually, I think, number 2 on that metric, and it's like. So you obviously see why.
Circle the
40-1.
I think it's worth it because look, circle the Texas Tech game. I think that's a huge one, and I fully expect them to do something to honor Mike Leach, by the way. But September 7th, if they can get through Texas Tech at Martin Stadium, week 2, I think they're going to win the Apple Cup. I think they should have won it last year, and this year Washington has lost everybody. And the fact that it's week 3, it's no longer the final game of the year. Which once again, Big Ten, fuck you. That should be the final game of the season every year. They're going to win it though. It's going to help Washington State this year because Washington in September is going to be a mess. In November, Washington will be a lot better. But I think Washington State's going to win that game. So if they can get that Texas Tech game, I really think the only games they could lose then after that are, the road trips to Boise, Fresno, and Oregon State. But I think they could win some of those too. That's what I'm saying. Like 10-2, I love the over on this spot. I think this one is lock worthy here. They did lose Cam Ward to Miami.
That's big.
But dude, I trust this.
Who's
offense.
their quarterback now?
They've had a good quarterback. They have 2 guys. They have Zevi Ekos, who's a transfer from the FCS at Bryant, I believe it was, and their backup from a year ago who did play. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, but he did play a season ago and he played decently. So I think they'll be fine. The offensive line, they bring back the entire offensive line. The backup is who is the backup from a year ago?
I'll pull up the depth chart. Hold on. I mean, I think they also have, we didn't really mention it with Oregon State, but they both are kind of strange road trips.
Yeah. But also, like that team was much better. Go back and look last year, man. They were a good.
Who are we talking about? John Mater?
Yeah, he's back, and he played solid. But Ekos and him, that's enough. And to me, Kyle Williams still at wide receiver. You got the offensive line back. The defense seems to be in decent shape. That's Jake Dickert's specialty. I really like their chances this year. You look at the schedule, and it's
schedule's nice.
Like I said, I think that if they need to take care of business against Texas Tech, that's a questionable game there. But after that, I think remember Boise's a tough place to win at, but they're still starting a freshman quarterback. Fresno State just lost Jeff Tedford. There's got to be some ramifications with that. And then Oregon State, in November 23rd. Now, I would like to play Oregon State before that, but I still think Washington State's a better team right now.
So, if Washington State and Oregon State are in the Mountain West, who's favorite to win the conference?
I think Washington State would be. They have so many returning players.
Yeah, Washington State over 7.5. Smash it.
Certainly don't love that they have to go back-to-back road spots against Fresno and Boise.
They get a bye between those though.
Still, they caught the stiffer piece of the Mountain West, but then they also have some nice winnable games. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm about to say they got, when you really think about it, they got Hawaii coming to Pullman, Utah State coming to Pullman,
and
San Jose State coming to Pullman.
They announced earlier this week that they are. It might have been last week. That they are doing something for Mike Leach, and it sounds like it is going to be that.
They should
that weekend, Saturday, September 7th. So
let's go.
And
let's get it.
I think we'll be in Vegas for that. So shout out to us. All right, one more. Talking about some Cowboys, Sean. It's not a good thing.
Laramie Cowboys.
These ones are from Wyoming. That's right, Laramie. Another real men up there, Sean. They work with their hands. They ride steer. No word of any queers though. 5-3 in conference. 8-4 overall. Do we have the elevation in Laramie memorized?
No.
Very important. If you want to sound smart,
feet.
You want to sound smart at the bar. You gotta let your friends know that Laramie is a secret elevation spot. 6-5 is the total this
71-65. Current.
Now, is that higher or lower than Mile High, Colorado?
What am I, a retard?
Higher.
No, I'm helping everyone.
Oh, okay.
I'm helping everyone have a great.
52-80.
I'm exactly. I'm giving everyone a great nugget. Again, everyone you want to have that one. I'm not a complete retard at the par. So 6.5 plus 110 to the over, minus 135 to the under. 6. I mean, 6.5 seems about right. I did see that this is one of the more popular unders being given out, kind of out in the. So I was asking AI to collect some of the favorite college football picks out there, and Wyoming under is one of them. Who knows? 15-1 to win the conference, 80-1 to make the playoff, 1,000-1.
Well, they're coming off
the
a
championship
season last year, which they won 9 games, including the bowl. They lost their head coach though. What do you make of their new head coach, Colby?
He was the guy running their defense. I think if anything, and I love Craig Bowl, but Salvell used the portal a little bit more than Bowl.
Yeah.
And I think this, especially with the Tedford news that we just got, I think you take a future on them to win the Mountain West because the schedule lines up great. Their offensive line, Wyoming on the line of scrimmage is better than every team in this conference. Like, to me, at least their run game, they return everybody on the offensive line. Their defensive line, I think they return 3 of 4. And I think this guy, Evan Swoboda, is the quarterback. A lot of comparisons.
Why does that name ring a bell?
A lot of comparisons to Josh Allen.
Shout out to Jason Swoboda. He was a guy, legendary guy who threw out his back, slipped and fell, threw out his back, was on the kitchen floor, and while he was waiting for help, he just started drafting best ball teams. So
it's great that you remember that.
All time. Well, he's a big Eagles fan.
Put that on his fucking tombstone. Once drafted an underdog draft.
I mean, just amazing. And he used a promo code SGPN.
Anyway, so
Love
the new
guy.
Quarterback is Swoboda.
Well, he started the Texas game that they almost won.
Yeah.
Remember, it was 10-10 in the fourth quarter.
In Wyoming again, it's just a brutal place to play.
I actually just really think this team, like some of the moves they went out and got the wideout from Texas Tech in the portal and the backup running back who will get some reps, I think, from North Carolina mixed with Harrison Whaley. I look at this team and I don't really see a weakness as far as like a complete team.
Yeah,
they are a very complete team. Now, historically under Craig Bowl, they always struggled a little bit on the road. But I think this team is just really good defensively, bringing back what they bring back. And then the offensive line, I think is maybe the best in the conference. I think it's a smash overplay. And I also think with, like I said, the Tedford news, and Boise has to win in Laramie. So like they don't play UNLV, who's projected third best. Look at the non-con too. Years before they had to play at Texas, right? Last year it was at Texas and Texas Tech.
They only get Washington State. They don't get Oregon State. They get Boise at home. They don't get Fresno.
Well, they get BYU at home in the non-con, and that's an old historic rivalry back on the schedule, right? You got to think you like their chances there, and then they're at Arizona State week 1. I think they're going to beat Arizona State.
I was going to say, let me pull up the number on that one. I know it's out. Wyoming is catching 7. So you like the plus 215 money line?
I do. I think they're the more physical football team. Yeah, I'm excited for this. But I look at the schedule. Air Force has historically struggled in Laramie.
The problem, I guess, for me is they did peak out last year with 9 wins total, but they had 3 net close wins plus 11 turnover margin. So there is a chance they regress a little bit. But to your point, Colby, Salvell using the portal well, they remain to be a tough out at home. Them winning 7 games, I love, and I do like the sprinkle on the conference as well.
I think there's a decent shot that they're they could be 9-0 to start the season. I think like the BYU game's tricky because it's a rivalry game, but I think they're going to beat Arizona State. They get Idaho, who's a decent FCS. I think they could easily be 5-0, and then they get a bye week, and then you look at the second stretch. I love where their bye weeks are, by the way. Home to San Diego State at that elevation, and Sean Lewis and them, they want to play super fast. I don't know that you're gonna be able to play super fast in Laramie. Then they're at San Jose State, new coach. Home to Utah State, new coach. At New Mexico, they get 4 new coaches in a row. The second stretch. I like their schedule, man. Smash that over. I think it's one of the better plays.
Kramer, you in on the over?
Well, I was going to consider the over because that was my AI tidbit. That AI told me that chalk was all over the Wyoming under, and so we were going to take that juicy plus 110. We were going to remind people about the elevation spot, and
that alone.
And we were going to remind everyone also that the new quarterback, like Colby pointed out, is a Josh Allen clone.
Have you?
Well, by the way, Josh Allen kind of sucked in. How many games did Josh Allen win?
They went bowling and stuff.
7 wins.
Yeah.
But
that's when he was starting to turn the program around, man.
No, I'm messing. I like you over here. Unfortunately, we're not going to refer to them as the Cowboys, though.
No,
we're going to refer to them as the Laramie Cowboys
or the Pokes.
I like the Pokes.
Pokes, that's fine.
Little poke. All right, time for the locks. 3 locks and a future. Kramer, you're on
3
the clock.
locks.
Yeah, you're the one who makes these cockamamie sheets.
Let's see here. I mean, there's only 7 teams in this conference. UNLV under.
Okay.
San Diego State over. Washington State. That's one for the heart.
Future
over. 2. I took 3 overs in the episode. 2 were locks. Yeah. I mean, I think we're just gonna let's sprinkle Washington State to make the playoff.
Yeah, I like that.
I think we'll probably make. I mean, San Diego State to win the conference is kind of fun, but feels a little unrealistic. So this is the.
I'm gonna go Wyoming over 6.5, UNLV under 7.5, San Diego State over 5.5, and Wyoming to win the Mountain West at 15-1. Colby.
Yep, I'm with you with the Wyoming to win the Mountain West 15-1. I think that's a really wise play. Because remember, the Mountain West, you have to if you get the 1 seed, you play at home.
Yeah, imagine a home game in Laramie for the conference.
All right, yeah, I'll take a piece of that action too.
No, wait. What does Laramie have to do to get in the playoff? If they won the Mountain West, what would their record have to be?
Well, this is where it's interesting because
they'd have to be 11-1.
I don't know it, but there's such a bias against the Western football that
so obviously Mountain West doesn't have an auto bid.
They should. It's so much better. Like the AAC's top teams.
No, but I'm saying
I say this as an ECU fan.
I'm just game theory wise. If you like my Wyoming to win the Mountain West at 15-1, do we also play them to make the playoff at 80-1? What has to happen between them winning the Mountain West and them getting in the playoffs?
I do think Liberty getting embarrassed in a bowl game last year helps the Mountain West champ. So I think it's worth the sprinkle. But
all right, I'll throw them to make the playoffs.
But your issue is that the Mountain West champ is most likely not going to be the highest ranked group of 5.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, historically, these voters basically tell you, if you pay attention, that they go to sleep. Majority of them are on the East Coast. They don't watch these fucking games on the West Coast.
But also the record parity could make it difficult.
Yes, and the fact that it is but I think they should take in effect, and the commissioner mentioned this, was that they should. She hopes that the playoff committee realizes they have a 7-game tie-in with Washington State and Oregon State, and the fact that they believe that they're much better, which they are when you consider UCF, Houston,
it doesn't matter.
SMU all gone from the AAC.
So the way Colby answered your question, Sean, was you should just bet on them to win the conference.
I think it's worth a sprinkle.
Save yourself the heartache.
I think it's worth a sprinkle though. You know, let's go. Let's get the Cowboys into the playoffs. The Pokes into the playoffs.
No, but yeah, do both, I guess, because you're going to be pissed off if you're going to be very pissed off if you don't do both.
Yeah.
I mean, my advice would be, I think you're playing with fire. Like the idea that a second group of 5 team gets in from a conference that's going to beat each other up seems unlikely. So just take the conference champ. I mean, I hope it happens. It just, you're right. They don't stay up late. They're not going to watch these. I mean, the Mountain West particularly takes advantage of the later windows on the West Coast, which is great, but not when the people voting are 80 years old and need. I mean, as someone who likes to go to bed early, I'll still stay up for a Mountain West game.
So what are your locks win totals? Colby?
I'll take Wyoming over 6.5. That's the most obvious to me. I also take San Diego State over 5.5.
Okay.
Third one will be UNLV under 7.5.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good card.
Bingo.
Bingo indeed.
Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure you check out all our college football conference previews. Make sure you check out the college football experience, counting you down every single FBS team, individual team previews, and get in on the Underdog Fantasy Best Balls. Of course, promo code SGPN. College football best ball. It's here and it's amazing.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean. Second the money green. He's Ryan.
I want to see Sean screenshot his first college best ball team.
Kramer, let it ride.